welcome to another episode of Legion Elite Motorsports. I'm your host, Isaiah, and today we are going to be removing the intake manifold, and we're going to be removing the front bumper. So let's definitely dive into it, and let's see what we get done. Okay, so we are back at it. Let's see. Where do I want to start? Let's take the radiator out. Take the radiator out. I'm going to take off the boost pipe here. Then we can start working on the intake manifold. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this guy right here and disconnect the line, and a whole bunch of water is going to come out. And I'm going to put a drain pan under here, and we should be good to go. So let me do that, and yeah, that should be it. Okay, just for reference, this blue goes to the thermostatic switch, and I'm going to kind of wrap all of these wires up and tuck them away neatly. Of course, this is upon reassembly. Currently, there's wires everywhere. But we drain the water. Next, we are going to take these wires that go around the plug, and we're going to make some plug-in clips for them. They're going to be two different colors, so you can't get them mixed up. And then same deal here. I'm gonna make these two different colors so you can't get them mixed up. And then that should be it for that. I'll be able to unplug it and pull the radiator out as soon as I disconnect it from there. And that will be done and done. Okay, so there, blue goes to blue, red goes to red. Same deal over here, blue goes to blue, red goes to red. So now I can disconnect this and we're good to go. Loosen up the clamp here, move that out of the way so the actual radiator can come completely out. Okay, the radiator is out. Simple enough setup. I'm probably gonna get another radiator. Again, like I was saying, this one's fine. It's been working all this time, but I kind of want something a little slimmer. You see the belt is rubbing into the motor here, so 2-row instead of 3 should be good to go. Okay, now let's see. So I'm gonna take the clamps off here. We're gonna leave the AC belt and compressor on. We're just going to take off the 2 hoses that go to it. Sorry. Upper hose, lower hose. We're going to take those 2 off, and then that'll be one last thing we have to take loose. What else we have? Injector wires. So we have yellow with a black stripe for cylinder number 1. Orange, solid orange for number 2. Then we have yellow, solid yellow for number 3. And then for 4, we have orange with a black stripe for number 4. So the reason that's so important is because the way the car was running beforehand is exactly the way we want the car to run when we put everything back together. So yellow with black stripe, solid orange, yellow with stripe, and then orange with stripe. So that is the order. And that's how we're gonna remember it. That's how we're gonna put it back. So that's very important. So let me take off these hoses. I already disconnected the TPS, which is 3-wire from the Ford. And yeah, let's take it down. Okay, so we got part of the strut bar out. That's going to be to remove the actual engine. We have the throttle cable removed. We have all of the vacuum lines removed. We got the water line there removed. We got the fuel line up here removed. Water temperature sensor removed. I got to take loose the rear one. We got the coil wire removed. Oh, wait, where did I? Okay, here we go. So that's removed over here. We got, let's see, boom, boom, boom. I loosened this one. I have to take that off, and then I have to do the one that is over here, right there. Take that off. Then take the intake manifold off, and yeah, we should be good to go. A lot of stuff has come loose. I have to take off these two lines here. I'm gonna mark these two, because believe it or not, this does go a particular way. So we're gonna get those marked, and yep, take those off also. And actually, I might just lay this on top of here and pull that up with the engine. Might make things simpler. So that, then we have motor mount, has to be taken loose in general transmission. This engine is almost ready to come out. Almost. So I'm gonna get back at it, and let me see, we should have this out in a bit. But today we're just gonna focus on the intake manifold, and then we'll take the next steps after that. Okay, got both the AC lines off. Right there and right there. So now what you have to do is take the dipstick off the intake manifold, and I say 12 right there. And that's all she wrote. And then I believe after that, we have the clearance to take the intake manifold off. So that's gonna be fun. And we'll knock that out and take it from there. And just like that, before the sun went down, we got the intake manifold out. Wiry mess everywhere. You can see the Funk Lock motor mount completely covered in oil, of course. See that there. And here's the intake manifold gasket. Alrighty, and we can definitely see what cylinder failed. Otherwise, cylinder number 4 wouldn't be so oily. So, yeah, with all of that aside, I call that a success on the intake manifold side. And for those of you wondering, what is this? That is something you have to do when you have the Magna intake manifold, because the original head has 2 different steps for the gasket and this piece here. So you seal it so oil doesn't leak down onto the block and all of that good stuff. So that one's sealed. Let me show you what that looks like on the intake manifold. So that piece covers it right there. And if you bolt it up as is, you'll see there's a gap from here to the head. Now, if you have a brand new head, they actually cut this whole area even. So with just the gasket on both intake and I think this is the original Caravan pump area. So if you cover both of these with a gasket, you should actually get away with not having to silicone your head. I use silicone. Some people use JB Weld. Whatever your preference, it all works. But let's take a look at this intake manifold. And geez. Yep, cylinder number 4 has definitely had it. Yep, cylinder number 4. But anyway, so on here we have the water jacket for the firewall. They don't make this rail anymore because it's an angle cut, and I believe the person that used to make this fuel rail just stopped making it. Either that or went out of business, I forget, but yeah. So anyway, then we have the Bosch 1700cc high impedance. Throttle cable is on this side instead of that side. Reason being is because it gets in the way of the brake booster. You kind of cut it close, so it's kind of best to put it on this side. Then we have our 3 vacuum ports. We got a 75mm throttle body here, Ford, with the 3-wire TPS, which is technically the same as our factory TPS wiring schematics. Not plug, but just the schematics. Then you could see a massacre happen here. As solid gasket material, this is sticky. But yeah, so 4 injectors. I'm gonna clean out the inside and the surface to make sure that we have a nice clean surface to mate to. But this is everything. This is a magnet intake. You can see this plate was welded on here, and the original one back here was capped off. Okay, and then we have this vacuum line that was put here for the brake booster. Okay, and yeah, that's pretty much about it. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to take off the front bumper and assess the damage of the front lip so that can also get repaired. So we're gonna start with taking out this grill piece, which you'll need a Phillips screwdriver for. And then after that, you're going to take out your fog light cover, which you're gonna need a Phillips screwdriver for. Or if you can actually reach the plug, which is right back there, you won't actually have to take out the fog lights. But I'm gonna take them out and probably put them back in once the bumper's off. But anyway, let's begin. Okay, so we got the grill out. Next, what we want to do is on each lip here, there is some 10mm bolts. You can see some of them right there. And you're basically going to want to take out all of these. There should be a total of 4. You could be missing some, very common. Otherwise the lip wouldn't look like that. But yeah. So we're going to take those out on both sides. Then we're going to take out the 14mm bolts down here. It's actually 2 of them. Let's see if I can Yep, there's one, and then the other one's right there. Kind of dark, can't see it, but trust me, it is there. So, yep, we're gonna take those loose and go from there. Okay, so we slid the bumper out, and this is the part where you can unplug the actual plug for the fog light so you don't have to take any of it apart. But as you can see, the massive intercooler I have, which I'm going to be taking out and taking some measurements of it, I actually had to cut some frame there. So whatever the size of this intercooler is, you might want to get it just a little bit smaller. But you know, the design was meant to hold maximum of 700 horsepower, and I figured it's something I'd never have to come back and replace. So anyway, so I'm going to unplug these fog lights, which it should be the same type of plug that would be for the headlights. It's a squeeze and pull type technique there. But once that is off, I will show you guys what she looks like, check out the damage, and see options for repair. Okay, here she is. Geez, that's a big intercooler. Kind of low, but she sits higher when she's mounted. But so this is my front bumper. I had this mod done a long time ago by a good friend of mine, and yeah, it needs some more covering up. So we're also going to tend to that and this, but basically what is done to get the bigger opening is the bash bar is cut to accommodate the new front piece. There's foam in front of the steel bash bar, and that's pretty much how everything goes. Yeah, I think I'll be able to cover that up, and same way this one's covered up. And this is our biggest damage here, which we should be able to repair. If we go to the back side, we can see how everything is mounted up and such. These are the plugs that I were talking about. Right there, I got HIDs in those too. And oh yeah, there's just gonna be a lot of repairing done to this, from the small stuff all the way to the missing pieces to this whole side being shattered. Definitely gonna repair it all, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, let's check out the intercooler side. Okay, so the overflow bottle sits here, so that has a hose that pours down. And back in the day, this thing used to overheat all the time, but never blew the gasket. So when I finally fixed that, I never got a chance to squeeze between here and clean it up. So that's that. And these boxes here are for the HID headlights, which used to sit further back, but we'll just do that for now. But yes, so definitely gonna clean these cuts up here. Just a lot of repair work to be done, and I'm actually probably gonna close this back so I can get a little bit more strength in this area, and we should be good to go. And also, we're gonna remove the hood, put that aside, so she'll be nice and open so we can pull out the motor. So I have spacers here, which are not that big, but once the spacers are off, I'll be able to take the hood off and put it aside. And with that being said, we're going to call that an episode. So basically, now that we have all of that stuff off, including the hood, we did get that off. Next episode, we are going to pull out the motor and discover the damage on cylinder number 4. So stay tuned. Make sure you join me for another episode. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. And I'll see you next episode.